in this video, we're going to talk about compilation of MPICH from source. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So here I have my MPICH version 4.2.2. I'm going to extract it first, just like that. Then we need the installation directory. So I'm going to say installed directory. This is going to be my installation directory. I'm going to take the directory sort of address, and then I'm going to go to my MPICH. So here you don't have an install guide, but I think the install guide is sort of inside this README document. So you can take a look at, for example, make. If you look for it, you see, for example, for CSH and TCSH, you got to do it like that. Or for bash, you can do it like that. Or if you want certain flags, for example, like disable Fortran, this is what we wanted to do because I have, as I said, GCC on Mac is a wrapper for Clang compiler. So I don't have access to gfortran, so I don't actually need Fortran. So I should say disable Fortran, for example. But if you are on a Linux machine, or if you are on a Mac machine, which you have compiled, for example, GCC, the GNU GCC, then you can go ahead and install it like that. So let's just start with the configure statement. The prefix is sort of the installation directory, and then I want to simply say disable Fortran. So let this thing run. Why I'm not gonna pause or stop this video because again, similar to compilation of OpenMPI from source, I just want you to basically know that there's no dirty magic behind the scenes happening. So that is the only reason I'm not pausing or stopping this video, to show you basically the final end product. But if you are basically bored looking into these, text going up and down, you can simply, you're more than welcome to basically fast forward these things. Or maybe meanwhile, I can also talk about MPICH itself. So you got to go to mpich.org. This is the about. But if you want to download that version, the one that I have, 4.2.2, you can download it from this sort of page, this section. If you want the installation guide, you can click on this, and this is the one that is going to open. One thing to know that MPICH is sort of associated with this, Argonne National Laboratory, but there is a lot of sort of people and institutes and companies sort of behind this MPICH. Yeah, so this is the installation guide. You can also read it from here. This is exactly what we want to basically do today. Let's take a look at this thing. It's still going. Yeah. So maybe we can take a look at the overview section. It's still going. MPICH is distributed as source with an open source freely available license. It has been tested on several platforms, including Linux, Mac operating system, Solaris, and Windows. Please see the README, changes, release notes files in the distribution for more details. Still going. MPICH was originally developed during the MPI standards process starting in 1992 to provide feedback to the MPI forum on implementation and usability issues. So this is sort of a history. This original implementation was based on the Chameleon portability system to provide a lightweight implementation layer, hence the name was MPICH. So MPI is the first portion, and CH is coming from this Chameleon. Around 2001, let's take a look. Okay, this thing is done, so I can compile it with multiple processors, -J10. Of course, your system might have like different, let's say, processes available. So just play around with this number until you get the proper one for your system. For me, 10 is okay. Around 2001, development had begun on a new implementation named MPICH 2. MPICH 2 implemented additional features of the MPI 2 standard, or what was implemented in the original MPICH, now referred to as MPICH 1. The final release of the original MPICH is 1.2.7 P1. The version numbers of MPICH 2 were restarted at 0.9 and continued to 1.5. Starting with the major release in November 2012, the project renamed back to MPICH again with a version number of 3.0, and you can also check out the news and events. So this thing is compiling. What else can I show you? We can take a look at collaborators. So MPICH collaborates with a number of partner institutes. Several of these are derivative implementations that work closely with us, supporting MPICH on different platforms, while others are general tools and utilities, as well as other libraries and applications. So here we have the derivative implementations. It's still going. University of British Columbia, you can click on it and read more. Then we have Ohio State, we have Microsoft, we have like Intel, we have IBM, we have Cray. So these are different collaborators in basically MPICH. So you can see their publications if you want. You can take a look at developer docs, which is available in GitHub, of course. What else do we have? Mailing list, reportablog. What is in the home? Let's check. This is still going. Yeah. So I basically have nothing to to amuse you. We gotta wait for this thing to finish. Oh, maybe we can talk about. I don't know whether I mentioned this already. The reason that we are compiling MPICH right now is because that OpenMPI does not support partition communications, and also it does not support those _C MPI operations. If you remember from the video about point-to-point communications in MPI. So by the way, if you haven't watched this point-to-point communications in MPI, please go back and watch that video. And this compilation process is also very similar to what we had with OpenMPI. If you haven't watched compilation of OpenMPI, then please go back in and watch that video as well. We're still waiting for this sort of compilation to be finished. Okay, now we can say make install simply. There we go. Now if you hop back, now you see that we have this install directory, which has the binary directory, including everything here. So if I say MPI run ---- version, you're going to see something is popping out, right? But if I say here in this parent directory, if I say MPI run ---- version, you're going to see that it says command not found. That's because we haven't set the path for this one in our environment variables. So for that, you got to have this sort of installation directory. You copy that and then you say export. You're going to add it to your path variable. So you add this installation directory /bin. So this is where your binaries are basically. So this is done. And then you got to do it for on Linux systems. You got to say ld, I think library path. Yes. You pass in this address and then you got to say lib. This is for the libraries that you have, for the sort of dynamic libraries or shared objects. Then you got to say ld library path. And then if you're on a Mac operating system, there is, that these dynamic sort of libraries are having a different sort of extension. And for that is, I think, dyld, yeah, dynamic libraries. You do the same thing for if you are using Mac. It's dyld library path. And then last but not least, you gotta add also this package config path, which was I think in lib and then package config. pkg config, oops, path. So if you do this, the effect is going to be temporary only on this sort of terminal that I have. So if I open a new terminal, if I say MPI run, it's not going to work. Let's check it. MPI run -- version. You see that this thing pops out even when we are in the parent directory. So now our environment basically is aware of that. But it is only happening, as I said, temporarily in this sort of terminal. If you want sort of a permanent effect, you got to add exactly these 4 lines into, I mean, if you are on Linux, you don't need to do this thing. You got to add these lines into your .bashrc on Linux. And if you are using Mac, so let me show you. .bashrc, so this is the file for Linux users. And bash profile, this is the file for Mac users. You got to add these lines into this one. Okay, so I'm going to do this again. So you see MPI -- version basically shows you Hydra build details. Hydra is sort of the process management for MPICH. If you want to really check the version of MPICH, you got to say MPICH version, and then it shows you the version is 4.2.2. There we go. So this is compilation of MPICH from source. Similar to, I'm not going to do it again here, but similar to OpenMPI, you can basically go and test your installation by a simple code, for example, in parallel, which prints hello world. I'm not going to do it again. If you want to see that, then probably you should go back to the version of the video of compilation of OpenMPI from source. We've done it there. I hope you learned something from this video, and hope to see you in the next one.